Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A because you guys really liked the last Q&A I did. And I thought it would be quite a nice way to start off the month of December. I asked a bunch of you guys on Facebook to send me some questions and you did, so thank you so much for that. So we're going to get stuck right in. So the first question is from Samara asking me, "Hey Bella, I'm your fan from Brazil." Hello Brazil. I really love your work. I have some questions for your next video. What is the fog that you use? Is it real or Photoshop? So Samara, the fog I use is real, and it's not really fog. Fog I would say would come from a fog machine, and I don't really have a fog machine, although I think I should really get one. But I use a smoke pellet or smoke grenade, and I actually spoke about this in my What's in My Bag video. So if you go have a look at that, there's a lot more detailed information in that video about where exactly I get my smoke pellets and smoke grenades. Very quickly, I get my smoke pellets, which are tiny little things that you light with a match or a lighter, and they set off for about 10 to 15 seconds. And I get them on eBay and Amazon. I know you can buy them in the UK. I think you can buy them in the US, and I'm not sure about the rest of the world, so yeah. And then I buy my smoke grenades from a paintballing website, and again, if you just type in smoke grenade paintballing into Google, I'm sure you'll come up with a bunch of websites that let you find that sell and offer that item. So I get them from there, and smoke grenades, essentially you kind of pull them and they set off for about 30 to 60 seconds, so a bit more longer time, and they're definitely a lot more fuller in terms of smoke produced. So yeah, check out my What's in My Bag video for the full answer to that question. So yeah, thank you so much for sending that through. And then you also asked me another question, which is, how did you learn to work with Photoshop? I learned to work with Photoshop a long time ago. Back then, there wasn't really much in terms of like resources that I could pull upon. You know, YouTube was just kind of getting started. God, I'm really old. But like YouTube was kind of getting started, and everything that I learned, everything that I learned was really from trial and error. Now there's a lot more out there for people if they want to pick up Photoshop, definitely. So YouTube, which is a fantastic resource, you just need to type in like how to use curves, how to use levels, how to use color balance, and a whole bunch of stuff comes up. Another great resource is Flern. So if you don't know it, it's phlearn.com, flern.com, and they have loads and loads of videos on there about how to use Photoshop and different tips and tricks of things that you can do in Photoshop, which is really, really clever. And then another resource is Creative Live. Creative Live has a lot of good stuff on there as well. So yeah, it's just a case of like looking around in Google. Oh, and another great resource, sorry, there's so many now. You guys are so lucky, especially like, actually so am I. I'm really lucky too, because I'm constantly learning. So another great one is Retouching Academy. Retouching Academy has a lot of good stuff coming out as well. So if you're not following them, follow them, and you'll start seeing a lot of good stuff coming from them as well, because they're releasing videos. And then there's another site as well called Train to Create, and Train to Create also feature a lot of photographers, so and who also talk about their methods and methodology and how they use Photoshop as well to create their work, and little tips that they would recommend to people as well. So yeah, sorry, that was a really long answer to such a question. I didn't realise that there was so much out there, and I'm really, really happy that there is. So the next question I have is from Kate, who asked me, in other photos you've added hair flips, and I'm thinking of the Tempest. Love that red hair. Thank you very much, Kate. Anyway, how do you do that and make them look so natural? So the trick to that is essentially staying in the same spot, because the moment you move to a different angle, things change. So like the light changes, the angle is slightly different, and then when it comes to composing that later in Photoshop, you'll see that it doesn't really work, because the light is hitting the model from one side and it might be hitting the hair from another side, or whatever it is that you're trying to composite from another side, and that doesn't make it look natural. Ideally, the trick to a natural looking photo is focusing on the light and making sure that everything kind of looks like it makes sense. So when I'm shooting a picture like that where I am compositing, and I know I'm going to composite bits later, I try and stay as stationary as possible, so like in one position, and get what I need really from there. So in terms of the Tempest, how I created that was I essentially asked Camille, my model, to stay in one place and to pose, and I got the expression from her. So I shot and asked her to move and directed her as I wanted her to, until I got the expression that I was like, right, yes, that's the expression, that's the one we're going to use. And then while I was still staying in that same position with my camera at the same place, I asked her to flick her hair, and she did that, and I got loads of shots where her hair was flicking. And then later when it came to putting it together in Photoshop, it was just a case of overlaying all the pictures on top of each other, and then just bringing back or taking away bringing back the different bits of hair and just making them make sense in Photoshop. But essentially it made sense in front of me, so it will definitely make sense in Photoshop, if you can follow that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Ideally, if you've got a tripod, that's great. I like to be a bit more loose and freehand, and also because I've done this so many times, that I know kind of what I'm looking for. So a good trick is having a tripod, and that forces you to stay in one place, and you can create a composite very quickly and easily just by using a tripod, especially if you're starting out. So I hope that answers your question, Kate, and thank you for sending that through. So the next question is from Mai on Facebook, who asked me, where did you get the beautiful dresses and headpieces? They are so gorgeous. Thank you, Mai, for sending in that question. Very quickly, I get a lot of my stuff from eBay. I'm definitely one of those people that scrounge, like, it's a bit tight with money, especially when it comes to props, because I want to do so much. I can't really just be spend. So what I like to do is have a look on eBay and look in charity shops. I think you guys call them thrift shops in the US, and essentially just see what I can find that I can work with. So I was on eBay the other day and I found this beautiful dress, and it was like this wedding dress, and I thought, well, that would look lovely if I just cover that with flowers. And I have, and I've made a picture with it, which I will share soon on my Facebook page. I found another dress that I thought was really stunning, and it actually, in the end, I ended up going in there and cutting out the lining of the inside of that dress to make it really beautiful and sheer. And again, it's just a case of finding stuff and being a bit creative with it and seeing what you can do with it. Another place that I get dresses from is ASOS and maybe like other shops on the high street, and I'll go in there and have a look, and if I find something that I really like and I know that I'll use time again, I'll just buy it. So I found a lot of beautiful pieces on sites like ASOS that I've just bought and then manipulated to make my own. So another thing you can do to get dresses in your photos is just talk to a designer and be like, hi, look, I really like your work, this is my work, would you like to collaborate? And some designers might rent the outfits to you, or some designers might just let you borrow them in terms of photos. So that's another great way to get cool looking dresses and garments into your photos. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mai. The next question is from Gigi, who asked me, what is your best few tips for people who find it very hard to be motivated and do the work needed? Lists are great, but end up being too long and overwhelming, and I spend more time writing the list than doing what I need to do. So, Gina, I totally understand where you're coming from. Lists are great, but sometimes they're not enough, especially if you're not the type of person who sticks to your list. And I definitely can be that person a lot of the time. A good way to stay motivated is to give yourself a deadline. So even if it's like a weekly deadline or monthly deadline, but just knowing that you need to do a bunch of stuff before that day, I know helps get me going, because I know that, if I don't do it, then I'll just be disappointed in myself, and I don't want to be disappointed, and not being disappointed motivates me to do my deadline, to stick to my deadline. Another way to stay motivated is, I think, having aspirational quotes or words or things around your house or your room or even around your desk. I have a bunch of aspirational quotes on my desktop, and now and then I mix it up with photos. So on my desktop, things that are changing in the background are photos that inspire me, and as well as aspirational quotes, because I think that reading something just helps me, especially for me, just helps me stay motivated, and this is why I'm doing it. Another way to stay motivated is by following motivated people. I think that I find it really hard being in Oxford because I'm not surrounded by the creative network of people that I usually am when I'm travelling. So when I'm travelling, I make sure that I'm always with people who are very much like me and that we're very creative. And so together, we're always making things. And I think a good way to stay motivated is either being around creative people. So, you know, have friends over and who are as creative as you are or as motivated as you are, and their energy will fuel your energy and you'll just feel like you want to do a lot. But sometimes when you're in a place where you don't have friends around you, you can just like come around and you can all work together. Being in touch with people online, I think really helps a lot as well. And I think this is where the online world really helps me stay motivated. So a lot of the people I follow on things like Facebook and Instagram, they're really hardworking, and seeing how hard they work makes me work really hard as well. And I want to keep up, and that definitely motivates me to be better as well. So I would say, in answer to your question, and I'm sorry this is a really long rambly answer, either have deadlines, surround yourself with a bunch of creatives, and if you can't do that in real life, do it virtually. And if you can't do that, then aspirational quotes help as well. And then if you can't do that and you still can't stay motivated, then bribe yourself. I definitely do that. If I do something that I really want, if I get something done that I really want to do, then I'll treat myself to a little something. So even if it means like of my favourite food or like a new pair of shoes that I've been eyeing, something like that, I'll give myself a little treat for getting something done. So yeah, definitely a few little ways to like motivate yourself. The next question I have, and I think this is the last one I'm going to answer because this video is going to be quite long otherwise, is Bella, where do you find your amazing crowns? My crowns tend to come from everywhere. Anyone who knows me knows that I love a good thing that goes on someone's head. I love crowns and headpieces and flowers and anything that I can put in someone's head, and I don't know why that is. I'm just obsessed. So a lot of my crowns come from eBay. I'm sure this is not really that much of a surprise. But funnily enough, the two crowns that I'm going to show you right now, they don't come from eBay. So this crown actually came from ASOS, and it was a plain gold metal crown. And what I did to make it my own was just stick a whole bunch of like embellishments on it. So I bought all these on eBay, and they just come in like packs of 100 or 200, and you can find them in any craft shop really, because they're just gems that you can stick on anything, from clothes to cards or anything crafty. So I just bought a bunch, and I thought, well, why not make my own crown? So this was really easy to do. I just laid them all out and used I think it was like a glue gun or like a really good super glue to just stick them all in. And yeah, that was a nice little evening project, and I got a beautiful crown. The other crown I'm going to show you is this one. This one's one of my favourites. Sorry it looks a bit tatty. It hasn't really been well looked after, but it is one of my favourites. The crown was given to me by my friend Sarah, who is a fellow photographer, and it was plain again. It was just like a really beautiful plain lace black crown, and that was great, but I wanted to add a little bit more to it again and just make it a bit more opulent, because that's kind of what I was going for in my photos. And the same thing really, I just went on eBay and bought a bunch of white jewels and gems and then just stuck them all on. And then I found some beads on eBay as well from somewhere in France, and I just like using a plier put them on as well, and they should really stand up, but hey. So yeah, if you can't find it, honestly make it. See what you can find in terms of like a crown shape, and then just stick a bunch of stuff on it and you get like some great crowns. Another place is like looking at markets and looking at I guess eBay again, and also antique fairs. Antique fairs have some really beautiful things in there as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any more questions for me, then leave them in the comments below, and I will answer them in my next Q&A video, which I think will be in January, because it's quite fun. I love answering all your questions, and I really love that you guys send them to me as well, and it's really nice to have this conversation with you. If you want a particular video, then also leave that in the comments below, and I will do my best to make it, because it's really quite fun for me, this YouTube project. I just love sharing a bunch of stuff with you, and a lot of the stuff I share might be photography related and it also might not be, and I hope that's alright. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great week. Take care, bye guys!